Picture this, an Earth you wouldn't recognize. A planet of fire, rock, and chaos. No air to breathe, no life to see. It's a violent, empty world, spinning silently in the vast darkness of space. But deep beneath the surface of its boiling oceans, shielded from the harsh radiation of a young sun, something incredible is about to happen. A spark, a flicker, life. More than 3.5 billion years ago, the very first life forms appeared. Don't imagine animals or plants. Think simpler. Much, much simpler. Tiny, single-celled organisms, drifting aimlessly in the primordial soup. They couldn't think. They couldn't feel. But they could do one thing that would change everything. Survive. And more than that, they could replicate, passing on their traits. With every replication, there were tiny changes, mutations. Most were useless, some were harmful. But every now and then, a mutation offered a slight edge. A better way to process nutrients, a stronger cell wall. This is the engine of evolution. A slow, relentless process of trial and error, shaping the future of all life, one tiny change at a time. And it never, ever stops. Then, a revolution. A game-changing breakthrough called photosynthesis. Some of these tiny organisms evolved the ability to harness the power of sunlight. They absorbed carbon dioxide and, as a waste product, they released a gas that was completely new to Earth's atmosphere: oxygen. They were terraforming a planet without even knowing it. At first, this oxygen was a poison. It was corrosive, deadly to most life forms that had evolved in an oxygen-free world. It caused one of the first great extinction events on our planet. But life is resilient. In the face of this crisis, some organisms adapted. They developed ways to not only tolerate oxygen but to use it, to harness its incredible chemical power. This adaptation created a surge in energy, fueling a new era of biological innovation. Life was about to get much more complex and much more interesting. The world was changing, and life was changing with it. Multicellular life emerged. Cells began to band together, to specialize, to form colonies and then complex bodies. This teamwork allowed for incredible new abilities. Creatures developed the first eyes, simple light-sensing spots that gave them an awareness of their surroundings. They developed ways to move, to hunt, and to escape. The oceans, once a quiet cradle of life, became a dynamic battlefield. An evolutionary arms race began, with predators developing sharper claws and prey developing tougher shells. And then, another monumental leap. The first animals with backbones appeared: fish. With an internal skeleton, they could grow larger and move faster than ever before. For hundreds of millions of years, they dominated the seas, evolving into a stunning diversity of forms. But the planet is never static. Continents shifted, and sea levels fell. For some fish living in shallow, swampy waters, their world was literally drying up. It was another crisis. And crisis, as always, drives innovation. They adapted. Their fins grew stronger, more muscular, capable of pushing them through mud. They developed primitive lungs, allowing them to gulp air from the surface when the water became oxygen-poor. Life, inch by painful inch, was crawling out of the ocean. This was the dawn of the amphibians. They lived a double life, tied to the water to lay their eggs, but free to explore the land as adults. From them, the first true land conquerors evolved: reptiles. With their scaly, waterproof skin and hard-shelled eggs, they broke the final link to the water. Earth truly came alive. Forests of giant ferns spread across the continents, and the air buzzed with insects the size of seagulls. The age of reptiles had begun, and it would give rise to some of the most magnificent creatures the world has ever known. The dinosaurs. From the towering, plant-eating Brachiosaurus to the fearsome Tyrannosaurus rex, they ruled the planet. For more than 150 million years, they were the undisputed masters of Earth. It seemed their reign would last forever. Then 66 million years ago, the sky fell. A massive asteroid, 6 miles wide, slammed into the planet with the force of billions of atomic bombs. The impact triggered global earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and a thick cloud of dust that blotted out the sun for years. The age of dinosaurs ended in fire and darkness. But life, as it always does, endured. The extinction of the dinosaurs left a void, and a new group of animals who had been living in the shadows rose to fill it. They were small, warm-blooded, and furry. The mammals. In the post-dinosaur world, they thrived. They grew larger, smarter, faster. They diversified, filling every niche on land, in the seas, and even in the air. Among the mammals, a particularly clever group evolved in the trees, the primates. Life in the branches favored grasping hands, forward-facing eyes for depth perception, and large, complex brains to navigate a three-dimensional world. Our own story branches off from here. It begins in the vast plains of Africa. Around 6 million years ago, the climate was changing again. Forests were shrinking, replaced by open grasslands. In this new landscape, some primates began to do something extraordinary. They started walking on two legs. Bipedalism freed their hands. They weren't fully human yet, far from it. But this was the first critical step on our path. With free hands, they began to make tools. Simple sharpened stones at first, but these tools gave them access to new food sources, new ways to defend themselves. Then came another giant leap, the control of fire. Fire provided warmth, protection from predators, and a way to cook food, unlocking more nutrients and fueling the growth of our energy-hungry brains. Armed with tools and fire, our ancestors began to spread. From their homeland in Africa, they journeyed out, populating Asia, Europe, and eventually the entire globe. They adapted to freezing ice ages and scorching deserts. And then, around 300,000 years ago, a new species appeared on the scene. A species with a high rounded skull, a flat face, and a prominent chin. A species capable of symbolic thought, of complex language, of art. Yes, Homo sapiens. Modern humans, we didn't just adapt to the world. We began to change it. We built villages, then cities, then sprawling civilizations. We developed agriculture, writing, science. We created breathtaking art and profound philosophies. We unlocked the secrets of the atom and gazed at distant galaxies. From a single simple cell in a long-lost ocean to a species that walks on the moon and dreams of Mars, the story of life on Earth is the greatest story ever told. And the most incredible part? It's our story. And it is still being written by every one of us, every single day. Thanks for watching this journey through time. If you found this story as amazing as I do, consider liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into our incredible universe. See you next time.